The former British schoolgirl who left the UK to join so-called Islamic State, Shamima Begum, will not be returning anytime soon. She's been trying to get her British citizenship back, her lawyers arguing that she was a child victim of human trafficking. She's now 23. The judge at the Immigration Appeals Commission said the government's decision that she was a risk to national security still stood. Her lawyers will keep trying.
This was not a moral judgment about Shamima Begum's character, about whether she really regrets going to Syria. This was a legal judgment about whether the government followed the rules 4 years after she left the UK. In 2019, not long after she reached a detention camp in northeast Syria, she was stripped of her citizenship by the then Home Secretary. Her appeal against that decision was dismissed on all grounds today. She remains, said the judgment, a threat to national security.
The outcome that we face is that no British child who has been trafficked outside the UK will be protected by the British state if the Home Secretary invokes national security.
Mr. Justice J ruled that, although there was a credible suspicion that Miss Begum had been trafficked to Syria for sexual exploitation, this did not compel the Secretary of State to facilitate her return to the United Kingdom. But Shamima Begum's lawyers intend to challenge that.
I mean, in terms of the legal fight, that's nowhere near over.
But the Defence Secretary is hoping it is over.
I'm pleased the courts have upheld our interpretation of the nationality rules for the country, that she is also eligible to be a citizen of, and I think that's the right thing to do.
You don't want to see back in the UK?
No.
She was one of 3 schoolgirls who left East London during the half-term break. From Gatwick to Turkey to Syria, where she married a fighter and had 3 children who all died in infancy. She spoke later about her regret about leaving home.
I do regret it because when I went, I thought I was going to make a family.
Richard Barrett was a senior officer at MI6 and an expert witness in the Begum case. He says that on risks to national security, it's for spies to advise, for ministers to decide.
If you're asked, is she a risk to national security, you'd probably have to conclude yes, as sure they did correctly conclude that. But whether that risk is manageable or not is much more of a political decision.
After her appeal was rejected, she will remain inside a camp. But the Kurdish authorities which run it told ITV News that they're struggling to shoulder the burden of thousands of foreign former ISIS members, and they're asking the world for help. Shamima Begum has now been in the detention camp for as long as she lived under ISIS. The legal process might last even longer.